It's finally here, the 100 amp hour extension batteries from Clayton, but I won't be fitting them in my van. Let's keep this video light. We're not gonna get too technical, but I will be answering all of the FAQs on the 100 amp hour extension battery from Clayton. And I'm also gonna let you guys know what the one video was that I saw on YouTube, which has caused me to do a total U-turn. I've now decided, even though I've bought it, not to fit it. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way. I've just told you guys that I've purchased one of these and I've decided not to install it in my van. A few people are going to be sat there thinking, he's a YouTuber. He doesn't buy anything that's got a battery cell in it. Not true. How many other YouTubers are showing you the Clayton stuff? That is for good reason. They don't give these away to van lifers. This isn't a power bank. This isn't that kind of thing. I've kind of accidentally stumbled across a little bit of exclusivity only based on the fact that I'm willing to actually buy these items. I will admit that I didn't pay full money for these items, and you don't have to either. UAO LPS at Transporter HQ, 10% off anything that has got a Clayton badge on it. I'll obviously be telling you what this is and why you need one, and I'll be answering all of the FAQs as to if you've got one of them, do you need one of them, all of that. A reintroduction into the Clayton LPS II, absolute beast of a thing. 3000 watt inverter, 400 watt MPPT. It has a 160 amp hour lithium battery inside it, which has a usable energy of about 138 amp hours. It is RCD protected. It also has a built-in B2B that will give you about 45 amps of alternator charging. As soon as you turn the key, you add that little bad boy and you're up to about 90. That is it in a nutshell. And because even though I keep telling people how small this item is for the punch that it packs, we all know what a can of Coke looks like. That is the width of this unit. 4 cans of Coke and just over 2 cans high. When people see this in the flesh, they literally say to me, I know you said it was small, but I did not realise quite how small it is. It's about 2 shoeboxes worth. But this video isn't about this. I've got videos on that and they will be up there. This video is about the extension battery and why I won't be installing it. If we liked the size of the main unit, check that out. Not even 3 cans wide and definitely less than 2 cans high. That's just a perspective for you guys. 100 amp hours additional. Your purchase will come with one of these. This is not a supercharger. You buy one of them and you get one of these. And this is where a bit of confusion started to stem and also a little bit of misinformation came online. Your supercharger with your Clayton is an optional extra. You don't have to have one of these. This literally doubles your alternator charging while you're driving. This, even though it shares the same case as the supercharger, it is not in fact a supercharger. It is a bidirectional DC-DC converter, which sounds very similar to this, but believe me, this in here is totally different to this. So if you've got one of these, you still need one of these. Yes, they share the same case. It is identical. The way you will know if you've got them together and you mix them up is there on that badge that says EXT, which is the extension. They are a different product. We all complain about the price of absolutely everything. The fact that they share a case, I think, is actually genius, because you're not paying someone to design a different case and produce something different. And I also love the way it looks, because you've got 2 of the same thing and it looks like you've got 2 superchargers. That for me is a bonus. They share the same case, but the data on the back, you see how that one hasn't got EXT? That's how you will tell them apart. Another frequently asked question. Do you have to have a supercharger if you're going to use the DC-DC extension? And the answer is no. You can simply have the LPS 3000, the DC-DC converter, which comes with the extension battery, so you pretty much can't get that wrong. You don't have to have the supercharger. Frequently asked question, because I've seen it online, and that is, if we need one of these, the DC-DC converter, why doesn't it just come inside one of these? And I think I know why. My next statement is totally unofficial and not backed by Clayton in any way, shape or form. But I believe that in some settings of using these extension batteries, you don't need one of these. Therefore, why would they put all of this, which costs money, everything costs money, someone has put this thing together. Why would they put this in a unit, in a setting where it's not used, where it's redundant? That would be a waste of money, and the overall cost for all of us that are buying this would go up because they're wasting something that is not being used. Do I even need an extension battery? Well, that's kind of down to you. 138 amp hours of usable energy with the Clayton LPS II, and it charges at a super rate with all of these different means of doing so. 400 watts of solar, crank your vehicle's engine and you're going to get at least 45 amps. Do you need any more than 138 amp hours of usable energy? Once again, that is totally down to you. I've always thought that that is a ludicrous amount, but now that people seem to be going gasless more and more, and we're expecting to be able to use coffee machines and air fryers, for what you get in that Clayton LPS II is absolutely astonishing. The inverter in there alone, but who doesn't want more? Who doesn't want more? 100 amp hours additional, and you can add 100 amp hours, 100 amp hours, 100 amp hours. They do a 280 amp hour extension battery. That's absolutely phenomenal. Is it overkill? I don't know. Would I want it in my van? Yes, I would, but I'm not going to fit it. How do we mount the extension batteries? Because as an optional extra on the Clayton LPS, the big unit, you can buy a mount for about £32, but it would save you a hell of a lot of time. This might not be a frequently asked question, but this was a question of mine. I reached out to Andy at Transporter HQ and said, I'm about to order one of these. Do I need to buy a mount separately? And the answer is no. Very, very simple, but very, very effective. You get these little babies and they basically hook into the side there. Let me take you for a closer look. And you screw them down. That, someone has hit the nail on the head in the R&D team at Clayton, because someone was tasked with the job of how to bolt these things to the floor, and they come up with that. And if you were bolting a couple of them in tandem, for example, you get one that's shaped a bit like that, so it bolts this one and the one next to it. Genius. The next little subject was the one that caused the most confusion, because there was a little bit of misinformation online. Before these units were even out, there was a suggestion that to have an extension battery, which people knew were coming, people bought the Clayton LPS with it in mind that one day we could extend the battery bank. And the confusion arose when someone said that to have an extension battery, you needed an extra cable from your system to your vehicle's battery. Now, people were at the point where their vans were almost finished and they had a little cupboard left over for an extension battery, and they were told that you need a new cable. It is not true. As long as you have a suitably sized cable, mine there is 35mm, suitably sized for the distance it's going to travel, you can do everything from that point onwards. So if you have the space for an extension battery, and you already have a Clayton LPS II installed, you can do everything from that point onwards, as long as up to that point it is installed correctly. This is about as technical as I'm willing to go, because it just gets too confusing when I'm showing you wire to wire to wire. The schematic is so easy because you've basically always got 3 cables, a red, a black, and the data one that links them up. So I don't need to go too deep into it, I promise you. We have concluded that I have purchased one of these out of my own money, using my own code, believe it or not, but I'm not going to fit one of these. I have designed my cupboard unit to allow for one of these, but I'm not going to fit one of these. I love the way this thing looks, but I'm not going to fit it. I love the way that we screw it down, but I'm not going to fit it. I want more power, why not? But I'm not going to fit it. And it's all because of one video that I saw online, and it was this.
Yeah, I'm going to really struggle with this one. Panamericana.
Andy and Mikey from Transporter HQ went over to Hanover for the grand opening of the new Transporter. And while he couldn't say Panamericana, I absolutely loved it. I absolutely, genuinely, take a look at the van, tell me that that isn't what I've been trying to create with this. It's basically a factory version of this. And if I can afford one, the day that they come out, and they are as nice as I think they are, I have to buy one. I have to buy one, and I have to be the first person on YouTube with a 4Motion doing a build along, so that when they start to flood through, my channel might eventually go viral and some more people will start watching. The reason that I'm not installing this extension battery is because if I add that to this build, I'd basically be giving it away. When you add something like that, even though it has a value, you never really get it back. It's like this bike rack, for example. That bike rack is about £1,100 powder coated. They're about 650, I believe, in bare aluminium. That's about 3 months old. I've got to consider removing this if I was to sell the van, because I would get about 800, maybe 850 for that online, like that, because it is absolutely brand new. If I just keep that on the van, on the advert, you don't get that money back. Just like that additional battery. No one expects to have an extension battery. Man alive, most of these vans come with 100 amp hour lead acid under the seat. I'm going to struggle to get my money back for the Clayton. Well, I won't get my money back for the Clayton. You add £1,000 worth of stuff and you might see £200 worth of that. So it is all of the things I said it is, and I do love it as much as I say I love it, but I'm not willing to give it away. I'm not giving it away if I do sell this van. If it's going anywhere, it's going in there.